You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag beer time, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers Cart Horse?
And just do something terrible. Just brew a shit beer.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with a sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Hashtag Beer Time. In this show we chat to Dr. Trevor from Old Potter's Brewhouse, a relatively new brewery in Greyton, which is located in the Western Cape. We got to try 4 of their beers. We also got to try 3 guest beers. And we just had a great show, sitting down, chatting. What does the South African market need? What is it lacking? What are the issues faced with new brewers entering the markets? Do we need more local collabs? We also chatted about the annual Fools and Fans Festival, which happens in Greyton in April. So lots to chat about, lots to drink, and we had a good show, just 2 buddies. So I'll let you guys get on with it and enjoy it. And yeah, let me know what you think. Ciao, ciao.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 12 o'clock on Tuesday, and it's time for Hashtag Beer Time with the Adams family. No, that's just an alternative for my intro. I'm working on my intro. I've got a lot of flack from that intro, so I need to work on it. Guys, we've got a very special guest in the studio today. He is just a gentleman and a scholar. He's from Old Potter's Brewhouse in Greyton. Dr. Trevor?
Oh, Troy, it's a real honor to be here and a pleasure.
Welcome. Yeah, it's awesome to have you. Let me just turn the music down there and have you. How's that sound?
Wonderful.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Nice to be behind the curtain and see the master, the Wizard of Oz at work.
I don't know where he is.
The Wizard of Beer Oz. Thank you.
No, it's great. I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while now, and
thank you very much.
And you're here.
Total pleasure.
You're a busy man, but it's great to have you. It's just you on the show. I thought about getting someone else just to kind of help steer the boat, but I thought, you know what? I think we're gonna have a good time. Just you and I. Just there's lots that we're gonna talk about.
I know we're gonna have a good time.
It's always a great time. Trevor, customary on the show to start with the beer. I will let you talk to me about what I'm opening.
So we're going to kick off today, and it's quite an important day for us because we've managed to bite and scratch and beg and plead and do favors at the docks to last for a year. So we're celebrating our first birthday today. So we are very, very pleased to be here. And we're kicking off with our first beer, which is a Saison. And we have called this our Plaasjaapie because it's, as you know, it's a beer created for peasants by peasants in the French-speaking parts of Belgium, the province of Wallonia.
Correct. I'm just nodding along.
So sorry to be patronizing, but it's meant to quench your thirst at the end of the day. So it's supposed to be very dry and thirst-quenching, almost the Sauvignon Blanc of beers, people tell me. So we hope we've got some parts of the way there. We think it's adequately dry. We think it's got a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of citrus flavor there.
Well, I must say, firstly, happy birthday. We can talk about that. But this might actually be the first Saison that we've had on the show.
Really?
I stand to be corrected. I'll need to check with.
You haven't had my good friend Steph Viswiedel's delicious.
No, he's up soon. We need to get his
wonderful
delicious beers. But yeah, let's go back to your Saison, which has got a bit of a fruity nose.
I hope it's got that farmyard smell of it.
Got a bit of spiciness.
A little bit of black pepper.
Very light.
Yes. It's supposed to be refreshing at the end of the day there. And suitably dry, I think.
You know, I look forward to my Tuesdays because the month of October has been October. So every Tuesday at 12 o'clock I get to have a beer. Because it's I mean, I'm allowed to because it's part of my my job. But yeah, just that first sip is. So yeah, this was a good first sip of the Tuesday.
So it's not a well-known beer in South Africa, the Saison, but it's
not popular.
No. I think a lot of people confuse it with a Weiss, and because there is that wheat in it, but the yeast is completely different, isn't it?
It's the misunderstood bastard of the beer world, I think.
Yeah, it's the love child of a Weiss and a lager, man.
Exactly. Okay, so this is you got a handful of beers that you brought us today.
Yeah.
But this is your lightest, your most, I suppose, your most sessionable beer. You do have a pale ale and an amber and an IPA, but yeah, we're starting off with this one.
Yeah, and I think it's we call this our Plaasjaapie, as I said, because it's a peasant beer, unfiltered, nice and cloudy. I think it's suitably heavily carbonated as befits the style. So in our first year we're not there yet, but I think we're slowly working towards getting there.
Well, I like what you've done with your range, because I think what a lot of brewers do, and maybe you can see it as a mistake, is that they'll introduce a lager or a lager or pilsner, anything with a lager fermentation, which is very difficult to make. And what I like with this, you suppose you could say it's a bit of a safe approach, but you've gone with something that's, you're going to have that high level, and then, like you said, you're going to evolve.
Yes.
One day you're going to grow to the size of Devil's Peak, and then you're going to, who knows?
It's amazing how popular lagers are, and yet paradoxically they're probably one of the most difficult beers to get right. And we thought we'd have a 4-beer backbone with frequent collaborations with all the wonderful beer people that are out there, and we've had some wonderful days that I partly remember with Mr. Party Animal himself, Greg from Banana Jam.
Sure.
And
naughty bro.
Some lovely home brewers. I must say, to get a home brewer into the brewery has always been a great pleasure and joy to see their kind of dedication to the beeriness of the project, and yeah, so we are hoping to get to a lager at some stage, but this is perhaps our most sessionable.
Delicious. Tell me a little more about why Greyton, why Old Potter's Brewhouse. Why didn't you get into brewing? I mean, you're a not a neurologist.
I'm a nephrologist. It's
nephrologist.
A kidney doctor.
Sounds kinky.
It doesn't mean I sleep with dead people. I'm a nephrologist, and so I deal with people with kidney problems who need dialysis and transplants. And my wife said to me that I've got terrible ADHD. Oh, look, there's a squirrel there, Troy. And that I need to maybe have something that as I get older to bring up, and I was homebrewing at
the wives are usually correct.
That's right. So I was and I was homebrewing at that stage. I learnt a little bit under the wonderful generosity of Brendan Watcham up in Joburg at Copper Lake
Brewery.
Lovely guy who's built everything himself from scratch. And so we started looking for a small country venue where we could possibly set up a brewery. It's taken us 3-4 years, and Greyton it's right in the heart of where South African barley is grown and malted, and very pretty little town. It just seemed to be the obvious choice. So we had a lunch and perhaps had too much wine and put in a silly offer on a little place that was unfortunately accepted. And
yes.
4 years later, here we are.
So if my math serves me correct, you've only been open for a year.
Yeah.
But the legal process of converting to a brewery, applying for a license, that was quite strenuous.
Onerous, to say the least. I mean, it's so we had to do some changes to a monument building. So it had to go through the heritage committee of the Western Cape.
No jacuzzi in the top.
No jacuzzi in the and we had to.
That's the one thing I'm going to put in my brewery one day, is a jacuzzi, just so I can get in there in my Speedo and just drink beer and laugh. And
it's a nice look. I think it'll suit you well.
If people ask me my definition of success, that's me in a jacuzzi drinking
white
beer,
Speedo, yeah.
just laughing. That's how I know I've made it.
A beer jacuzzi.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that the getting through the heritage committees and getting licensing for the building and licensing from the liquor board all took and then you have to go through the Greyton Aesthetics Committee and the Greyton's Women Crochet Society needs to do a tour of inspection. So it was all a little bit of a process, and then eventually in November we got our license to go, and so it's
Awesome.
Here we are a year later.
Sure. Yeah, and what a year it's been. Hey?
Yes.
It's kind of just, I suppose, flown by. I mean, I remember when I first met you and you told me about this brewery, and it was cool, great, and let's go visit. Yeah, I just can't believe that it's a year has gone by.
Yeah, it slips by.
It slips by. But yeah, no, okay, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure lots changed at the brewery.
Yeah, it takes. You think when you've got the tanks in place and your steamer working and your chillers cooling, you think you've arrived, and then you've got to buy kegs, and then you've got to buy grain, and so every step of the way there's big, massive outlays that you don't really account for. So we've managed to hold on, and let's see how the next year goes. And thank you for all of your help and generosity. It's as we've often said, it's a generous community.
I just drink your beer, Trevor. And if that's all that I can do, then I'm happy to do that. I must admit, I'm a big fan of Greyton. I'm a big fan of these small country towns, and I feel that that's where South Africa is heading. In that every kind of small town, farm town, whatever, no matter where you are in South Africa, you need to have a brew pub or something.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that, it's whether you want to attract tourists or stuff, but it's just a great. You're halfway there in terms of your marketing.
Sure.
Sure, you might not have busy trade on the week.
Sure.
But your weekends are chock-a-block.
Yeah.
And it's something which is, to me, a definition of craft, is going back to that old school heritage, going to a brew pub where you're pretty much only going to get that beer there. I mean, do you guys do anything like that where you'll only have something on tap there?
We do. We have had partnerships, and certainly when we've done collaboration brews with Banana Jam, we had our collaboration. We also in a collaboration with Signal Gun. It's a wine estate primarily, but they've also got a brewery. So we've done a keg swap with them. So it's. But I agree with you. It's nice to have that old school village brewery where everyone can kind of come in and
everyone knows your
down.
name.
Yeah, exactly. But it also helps with the distribution if you get your favorite beer that you sell is your beer that you sell on site, that you eliminate the distribution, and that's where Hermanus Brewery has been so successful, where they've just stuck and focused on Hermanus and done very, very well with their delicious lager,
I completely agree. If you look after the people that are closest to you, you're going to have issues of people wanting more of you, and you just kind of can grow organically like that.
Sure.
Cool. Well, very delicious. Thank you very much for the saison. As we said off air, I can't have too much beer. As I learned my lesson in the beginning of these shows, where I'd finish off the leftovers and then find myself in swinging from the chandeliers in beer house or whatever at 4:00 in the afternoon. No, I need to.
But with pacing.
I need to pace it.
Ourselves. I mean, you're a runner. You know the analogies.
Exactly. I'd like to, on the topic of collaborations, I'd like us to go to the next beer, which is not an Old Potter's Brewhouse beer, but a collaboration between some other friends of ours. Before we do that, we are going to take a little music break.
Wonderful.
Okay, we're back with the sensational, I should say,
nice word,
Mr. Dr. T. Yes, welcome back. How you doing?
Thank you. Wonderful.
Hey, you feeling good?
Feeling more nice and relaxed.
That first segment's
always a bit
of a
nerve-wracking.
A shred session coming up, the old pit session, but like I said, you get the first beer down and it's
Oh, I feel
Oh,
those
it's all downhill.
relaxing hands of Troy May on my neck. Just
metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
Well, as we said before the break, we were going to try this new collaboration beer from our dear friend. Reach into the old bag there. Ooh. So,
Oh, wonderful. I've been wanting to try this for a while now.
I got given this bottle by the gentleman from the Kennel Brewery, and I'm a bit embarrassed to say that I forgot his name.
I have met them. Wonderful, wonderful guys, and I really like their brand and what they're doing. How they
So they've got the Labrador.
and the Maltese
Maltese
poodle,
poodle
and it's all
dog
based.
related, yeah.
So I think their branding has been
It's
great.
very-
Their
very
social
clever.
media presence is great.
Nice story to tell as
Very
well.
nice story to tell. And this is a collaboration with the wonderful
Eric from
van Heerden, yeah.
Triggerfish. So they called it, I like how they've called it fish dog, which is the opposite of dogfish.
Yes.
So good foresight there on doing that. This is the Smoke Underwater, which is a smoked mild.
Okay.
And from what I understand, or what he explained, they use peat malt. So that's you get a very smoky kind of roasted malt that comes through in the flavor and the aroma. It's when they say mild, it's incredibly mild at 3.9%. So before I let you taste this, and I had a sneaky sip on the weekend, not from this bottle, obviously, but when you think of dark beers or smoked beers or anything, you might think, oh, cool, this is going to be quite alcohol heavy, quite forward in the malt
Maltiness,
richness
yeah.
and thickness, but this is an incredibly sessionable beer.
I'm looking forward to that.
Um,
And I mean,
let's open
yeah.
it. Let's enough of this bullshit.
So Eric's also a true pioneer, I think, in the craft scene with his Triggerfish. I mean, he's
been around for a while. I suppose he's, with Brendan up in Copper Lake, having built all his stuff. Eric also he got a lot of the stuff from the States, but he also kind of built his own
brewery, and also influenced, as you say, by the States, and never scared to experiment and try new beers all the time. He's not he's not like me with my boring stable of 4. He's always got hundreds on tap and always very keen, happy to talk and offer advice. Oh, I can't wait for this. Cheers.
Salute. Okay, so you can see very dark, but you can see when you hold it up to the light, it's got a nice purple clarity there. So you know that it's going to be a lot of caramel malts.
Yep.
Oh, let's give it a little sniff. Sure.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Chewy tobacco.
Yes. And that peatiness is coming through as well. Sort of whiskey-ish.
It's actually very sweet. It's a lot sweeter than I remember.
And the smell, you think there's going to be lots of alcohol. So
it's like walking into one of those wine cellars with the oak barrels. You can smell them. I'm going to give it a little taste.
Oh, and that's lovely. Very refreshing.
Hey, how
very, very refreshing.
Clean.
Yes.
Light.
And all that heavy, you're expecting, as you say, all those alcohols to come through, and they're not there at all.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Very lovely.
No, this is delicious.
Nice to be able to...
I will say, I think the smell just is absolutely amazing.
Gorgeous,
the smell leads this beer over the flavor. There could be a little bit of flavor improvement.
Possibly a little bit thin, but I mean, maybe that's what they wanted to make
maybe
it
a little bit more... What's the word? Viscosity.
Yes.
Is that a word?
That is a word.
Yeah. You'll find that as the program progresses, I get a little more brave braver, should I say, with my words.
With the vocab.
Yeah, but also I take risks, so my words also just fall apart.
But this, I would love to. This is a lovely to have a dark beer that you can drink in summer as easily as this.
No, this is very clean and easy drinking. No, well done
Eric and Kennel
Breweries. Now I kind of feel like I need to find his name, but we'll get it. We'll get after the break.
We will.
But yeah, this is great, and I think this is the answer for a lot of issues that South African craft brewers are facing. However you look at what the problem is, but I do feel that the answer is collaborations. And it's not going to solve everything, but I do feel more and more collaborations are going to be, you're going to be sharing ideas, you're going to be working on different procedures.
Yeah.
And I just feel, even if you work with another brewer and you see a new technique or something, I just feel that besides that, you're going to be sharing ideas and you're going to be growing
Absolutely.
your brand, you're going to be growing your expertise. And flip, I mean, besides doing this collaboration, people know who the collab was with, and they're going to go back to your brewery. So it's just great for marketing. I'd like more collabs. Yes, Trevor, your thoughts?
No, well, I mean, you're dipping into that double fan base there, and it just speaks of this great generosity that is so prevalent amongst the South African beer making and beer drinking community, where there's no secrets. I mean, the real example of that to me was Mark from Riot, who goes and publishes his kind of award-winning knocker kill-out IPA on a blog. I mean, how can you be more generous than that? But I think most people would do that if they had Mark's visual expertise, and wonderful.
Yeah, no, I suppose it's the guys from Dogfish. I know how we got into this from a fish dog to a dogfish, but sorry, not Dogfish, Brewdog.
Yes,
guys,
yes.
Brewdog in
the Scottish guys.
Yeah, I kind of got mixed up there, but Brewdog, who released their book of all their recipes last year.
Okay.
And that's just, I'm sure some other people, the industry or the homebrew culture was kind of share your recipes, but I think Brewdog was the first big scale craft brewery that kind of said, well,
we're going to do it.
Here's all our recipes. If you can make this beer and you can make it exactly, then why wouldn't that be beneficial?
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
and
there have been books published before where you've seen an SAB or Castle recipe, but that hasn't been from the brewery.
from SAB itself. And I think your idea of more collaborations being good is maybe, I know there's a move afoot to get this guild off the ground for craft brewers, but maybe a little bit of grassroots, collaborative, standard lifting in an organic way might need to precede those formalities, although I'm putting my foot in...
No. I think you've touched on a few things which we're going to address, and that's a great pivot, by the way, into the next subject. But before we go into that, I think what I like about some of the guys, what they've done with, who was it? I think Devil's Peak have done it. I'm trying to think. I'm talking about international collaborations. There's no one else. There's no one else who comes to mind. I'm going to get shot if there's someone else.
I only know of the Devil Peak,
and Fierce.
Yes.
And I mean, it's great that they can do that.
Yes.
That they've perhaps got a marketing budget for that. What I'd like to see is the smaller guys, the guys who don't have a JC, who don't have a Wolfgang.
Sure.
The guys who could really benefit from getting some older brother experience, or someone who's got that, coming from an industry like the States, where it's got 20 years ahead of us.
Absolutely.
Experience, and they've got formal education, they've got formal training, they may be a little bit more adventurous and know what happens when you mix this water with that hop oil.
So I suppose, Greg and Sean, to their credit, from Banana Afro-Caribbean Brewing, they've collaborated overseas. But I think what you say is right. I'm sure we have got a wealth of experience to benefit from the United States experience with all their breweries. In terms of beer itself and the quality control and legislative aspects, I'm sure there's many things we could learn about there.
And I mean, one of the things that we did talk about off air, and that you kindly just mentioned now a few minutes ago, was the the formation of a South African Craft Beers Guild, which, you know, a few of us met on Saturday at CBC. It just so happened to be also the CBC Oktoberfest.
Sure.
So I don't know if the people were there for the meeting or there for the free beer and pretzels, which was so kindly handed out by Wolfgang. And, you know, fuck it, I was still doing October, so
Yeah.
I had my fair share of pretzels, but, you know, it's a bit of a...
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about October. But I think there's what I say, movements to create this guild, this, you know, and you've got the Brewers Association in the States. I'm sure you've got, what's the one in UK? Is it
it's CAMRA.
CAMRA.
Campaign for Real Ale. Yeah.
Yes. So you've got these organizations who look after the brewers, the small guys, and I think there's a definite interest in it.
Sure.
What I'd like to see is a sped up process, because I know that 2 years ago there was kind of talk about it and things were kind of happening. I'd like some new young guys to come in and just kind of take it by the bull by the horns.
Yeah.
Speak to the brewers. What do you want? Okay, let's do it. Implement it. Go. And I think that we're going to start talking about benefits to the brewers. But
Sure.
it's.
I think two things to say. I mean, they need to number one, and you know, we're very keen to be involved as well. But we need to, number one, have very, very clearly defined, simple, achievable goals, like an attempt at possibly global quality control amongst members. Very simple things. So a sticker of sorts. And those goals need to be defined clearly at the beginning of the meeting before the beers come up. So that there's
wishy-washy, bend the rules, what it is kind of. It's very straightforward.
Yeah. We're going to define what craft beer is. You know.
And on that note, I mean, it's, you know, putting these, and we're talking about like going to brewers and saying, cool, are you part of us? Okay, you're paying this, whatever, but you need to actually you need to kind of stick to what we suggest, or not even suggest, what we, you know, say is a craft, or is what's the word I'm looking for? You need to tick the boxes of what we say. And that is, do you have a professional brewer, or do you have someone who's making quality beer?
Are you following the hygiene kind of basic minimum requirements?
Yes, and you kind of have a point system with tick box thing.
If you get a pass mark, then you get a sticker that says approved by South African Craft Guild.
And it's just, I'm hoping that the majority of the brewers don't take offense to that, but the whole goal or aim is to make sure that the whole category grows.
Yeah.
And why, if you was talking to you off air about this again, when we speak a lot off air, you know, let's put Old Potter's Brewhouse, for example, if for some reason, just using you as an example, let's say you were 10 points away from getting the sticker.
Jesus, I mean, we would break our butts to get those.
You would want
points.
that sticker because you're going to get some incentives.
Yep.
You're going to be included in a lot of procedures or communications with the guild, and you're going to have a lot of benefits.
I suppose the difficulty is just going to be in defining who the beer Jedi Masters are, because they must be completely independent of breweries, so that no one can level accusations of unfair, kind of favoritism. And I suppose that is quite tricky, but I can think of 3 people that I would have on that.
Well, you've said
Jedi.
you've thought of them, so now you have to mention. We can't leave the people in suspense.
Yeah, I mean, so people, the judges on those the BJCP, the awards that we've just had, a lovely guy like Matthew Hurst, such a independent character. Your very good self.
Thank you.
And those are the people, and I'm sure there are people, some brewers who are commercially linked to who many would regard as being unbiased and fair-handed.
I think Sean Duthie would do a good job. He studied politics, so he would.
We're taking Canadians now, are we?
Yeah, we.
Okay.
No, we.
All right, it's controversial.
let's.
But yes, I agree.
See what happens. But yeah, no. So exciting times ahead for
Yep.
the local
conversation has to be had.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all had too many sour or off beers, ourselves included, that we need to be kind of whipped into shape.
Yeah, it's also very. Yeah, it's difficult when you,
Very difficult.
especially if you're a big brewer or if you put in these restrictions or something on a small brewer. I remember when I was the sales rep at Jack Black, I had a good chat with the old Scott Kelly from CBC, and I
Yeah.
said, I can see what's happening in the trade.
Yeah.
Whereas, for a small example, the competition to get your beer into a place was so heavy that breweries were going into restaurants and saying, no, just take an extra tap. Wouldn't it be nice to have an extra tap?
Yes.
And the restaurant owners would be naive and not know about beer, and they'd be like, cool, I'm going to get an extra tap. And what they would actually do, it would lessen the whole amount of beer drunk over all the taps.
Yes.
What would happen is one
Kegs
or two
would
beers
stand.
would stand, the beer would get
Yeah.
stale.
Yeah.
And I saw this happen in a lot of places.
Right.
And, bless Scott Kelly, he said, it's going to be very difficult for someone from CBC and Jack Black to say to a smaller guy, actually, you can't go in there and
Yeah.
put your beer in because we're in there already. So that's something that I think the new guild needs to talk about.
And also, it must be beneficial to brewers not only from maybe raising quality control, but also maybe get some kind of like the old-fashioned guilds of the medieval times. Get some kind of bargaining power
Trial by death, or
by the Black Plague.
Yeah.
But maybe get some sort of bargaining power with suppliers. Maybe if you belong to the guild and you all buy
No, it's definitely.
a container of grain, you get a little bit of a discount.
Trev, we're going to get you some lekker deals there.
Thanks.
Back to this beer. I think we've spoken enough about the guild, and I'm pretty sure if people are listening to this, they have no idea. But you are listening to Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy. We're joined in the studio with Trevor, Dr. T from Old Potter's Brewhouse in Greyton. Such a lekker place.
Thank you very much.
Such a lekker guy.
I remember having you there celebrating your anniversary. So you are forever linked there on Mays Avenue, aren't you?
Yes, in my mind, you're 100% correct, but I spun a different story to the missus. It was a romantic weekend away in a beautiful country town, bed and breakfast, and it just so happens to be a beer
500
festival.
other fuckers there getting...
Oh, look. And I've invited all my friends. That was a good weekend. But we'll come talk about that. We're talking obviously about the Fools and Fans Festival that happens every year in April. But we're not going to talk about that now. We're going to play some delicious music. Oh, key, dough, key. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy. We're joined in the studio by Trevor. With? Who cares? We're joined. We're joined on that kind of thing with the wonderful chap from Old Potters. And Trevor, you having fun?
Lots of fun. Thanks a lot, Troy. Enjoying it a lot.
It's about to get a hell of a lot more fun when we crack open these next beers. So yeah, that last beer?
Fantastic. I really enjoyed that. So it's I'll definitely have more of that. So well done, Eric.
I'll have more of that. Let's move over to your Pale Ale. I think.
So this is
Pale
our...
Ale is a good beer to go over.
Yeah, this is we call it our city slicker. It's
I do just want to rinse our glasses out with that's PT.
Yes. So at the moment, the majority of our malt, rightly or wrongly, is local malt from SAB.
Yep.
We figure that it's it's local, B, it's malted just down the road from us. So to get
it makes sense.
A bag or two of that 30 k's away versus the other driving from Greyton, which is 90 minutes outside of town, we reckon it makes sense. We're still in the process of evaluating that. And then we hop it mainly with the African Queen as our bittering hop, and then a little bit of Willamette from Oregon, US. So I think it's quite nicely balanced. It's a bit too...
It's got a nice orange color.
Yeah.
So you can see it's got a little bit of that malty sweetness.
Yes.
Not too much.
We don't filter our beers, and you know, we quite like the flavour that you get from not filtering. It obviously affects the shelf life and all of those things.
Well,
and the clarity.
what's nice is that you guys have put on the bottle caps, you put a bottling date, a brew date.
Yes.
You put a batch number, and then you put the brewmaster signature, which I think is more than just a nice touch. I think it's a necessity.
We're trying to show that it is this bottle of beer has come to you from human beings, and they have bothered to sign it. And there is
hand labeled.
the clock does start ticking from that brew date. We're not sure when the bomb goes off and things go off, but probably we would reckon about 3, 4, 5, 6 months, depending how you store it from the.
It's all with the storage.
Yeah.
You store it in a cool fridge.
So much better than in the back of your car. But
that'll go off very quickly.
But so you know, the clarity is not there like the other pale ales on the market. Reasonable head.
Definitely got that floral aroma.
Yeah, of the Willamette hops. I'm least satisfied with this beer out of our range. I think it's. I think the malt and the hops are a little bit dysynchronous, and they don't marry properly. But some people seem to like it. God bless them.
It's actually a very different.
It's almost heading towards. I mean,
very different taste that you get from over the aroma.
Yeah.
I was expecting something completely different, but the taste is. It's very sessionable. It's
quite malty, I think.
It's more malty than it is hoppy.
Yeah.
But not. It shouldn't be too bitter. I think there does need to be a bit more cleanness and a bit more. You know, when you think of those pale ales, and again, it depends on if it's an English pale ale or an American pale ale. But you want that hop speciality to carry through into the taste and to not rip the enamel off your teeth by being so bitter, but you want that.
Yeah. I don't think this is clean enough. So.
But look.
Don't like to be horrible about.
No, look. This
the little children in my stable.
We've had some beers that we were very polite to, but this beer I'm not being polite to. I'm just saying that this is a delicious beer.
Well, that's very kind of you. And I do like it myself. But
it's not
probably it's number 4. It's not off, and it's not sour. And I'm not getting big diacetyl, I don't think. And so I don't think there are off flavors in it. But I just think it could be constructed a bit better.
And that's a good sign that you're not having any off flavors. That's sure. I mean, that's great.
Okay.
You know? And unfortunately, there are some breweries in South Africa that do have that, but. Now you can start working on that and saying, okay, cool, this needs to get pulled back, that needs to get pushed forward. And I mean, I'm speaking very humbly about from my position, and I'm just a home brewer. I don't have a big system, but I mean, that's what I've been doing now recently with my home brew. I've been saying, okay, cool, I want this, I need to push this out. How am I going to do that? I mean, I'm always trying to learn and try and expand the old brain.
Yeah, the thing that all brewers and customers will say to you is that you want consistency, and we totally agree with that. But we also feel that we're evolving. You know, we feel that the things that we don't like, we're trying to improve on, and so there will from time to time be some changes, and if there's enough blowback that it's gone in the wrong direction, you know, we will listen to that as well. We'll be still growing and learning. Yeah.
I just got an idea.
Yes.
No.
Use
it, don't use it.
I'm there.
It's just you and I.
Yes.
We're just chatting, just two guys.
Two guys.
Alone in a room. No one else is listening.
Yeah.
And I was going to segue first to the Fools and Fans, but
Yes.
let's talk about that. But before we talk about that, you and I, do a collab beer for the Fools and Fans Festival.
Fantastic.
I already know what it is.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
And then you and I can just go sit in the spent grain afterwards.
Please.
Huh?
Please. Get some of that special Grayton lamb that you're so fond of.
Oh,
And
Trevor,
just put our mouth under the tap
See,
and
yeah.
let's do it.
I'm going to have to sell this
Let's
to the
do
wife
it.
again.
Another
Yeah, babe.
romantic weekend
Yeah,
in
it's
Grayton.
another romantic weekend.
That'll be great. I mean, we luckily have got hold of a few barrels. That's our next venture. It seems
Very nice.
Seems you buggered unless you've got a barrel in your
Where did
basement somewhere.
you get it from, Paul?
We got it from Bouchard Finlayson, which
Oh,
is
very nice.
down the road from one of South Africa's hidden wine secrets.
In the valley there.
Hillenarde, yeah. So that's real wine royalty. And we've got a few reds and a few whites. So we've got
Very
6
fancy.
barrels to play with and whatever. Let's
Exciting.
let's get that going.
Cool. Well, I'm very excited for the second installment
Yes.
of the Fools and Fans Festival, which is, I suppose, your brainchild, which
Well, it's a
collective.
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible, egotistical way to celebrate a birthday.
It was
It was
your-
my birthday month, and so I thought, let's have a
Ain't nothing
let's
wrong.
stop messing around. Let's have a beer festival. And the first one was on the 1st of April on a Saturday, a
Yeah.
one-day festival. We try to concentrate mainly on brewers in the Overberg area, which has become quite a little
Hot
beer
spots, yeah.
destination. It'd be great if there was a beer tour, but South African law forbids you from putting up those tourist brown signs saying Brewery A on the Overberg brew route. They seem to be very influenced by the wine.
I can see the,
guys.
yeah.
Yes. But so we're mainly Overberg brewers. We had Eric from Triggerfish and Mountain from
Did we have Birkenhead? You had
Birkenhead. We had Mark
Hermanus.
from Red Sky, Hermanus. So we had about 10 breweries there.
Oh, it was awesome. And it was
intimate, I thought.
It was nice in that
Intimate.
nothing wrong with the big brewers, but there were the smaller guys
Yeah.
who. This is a great way of marketing and exposing their brand,
Yeah.
and because I think, again, nothing wrong with the bigger brewers, but you just sometimes go to the festivals and no matter which festival you go to, and you know that there's always going to be
Yes.
Jack Black, CBC, Devil's Peak, which are delicious beers. But this is a great festival just to showcase the other guys, the guys who were one-man band, two-man band, wife and
Yeah.
husband and wife team. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It was a great first year. I think we were very lucky with the weather. It was actually very hot. For April, and we got a lot of good feedback and from tourists, from brewers. The first year of anything is going to be pretty. It's a tester.
Yeah.
It's you're going to see what happens.
Sure.
But I think that the second and the third years are just going to be the ones where people actually start to see, okay, shit, this was not just a once-off event. This is actually going to be something big. And that's what I'm excited about.
Well, we hope so.
And your birthday, of course.
So we hope it's something that grows organically. We hope what we will insist on is that the brewer is there, not some guy who's kind of been paid $300-400 to stand in the sun and sell beer.
Didn't Clarence have a similar rule?
Yeah, so I mean we
couldn't be a contract brewer or something like that.
No, so hats off to the mayors, Natalie and Steph and
Yes.
Clarence. So we want it to be similar to that, maybe not as big, but we want the brewer to be there. We also want a speciality brew on the day that's not available on taps. So the TNT Dynamite Special collab between T-Bone. I thought I was T-Bone, but you'll stay
T-Bone Squared. we just found the name for our beer.
So I want those collabs to come out. I want the brewer to be there explaining. And I tell you what I feel is overlooked at these festivals is the exuberance of the home brewers. I mean, such amazing guys who have constructed the most incredible systems out of fish tanks and their wives' washing machine pumps and make the most delicious adventurous.
We
beer
had some
styles.
few. Yeah, you just reminded me. We had the homebrewing section or homebrewing competition
Yeah,
for the festival.
we did.
Unfortunately, the brewers weren't there to exhibit their beer, but there was a competition where you could enter. And then the winner could brew on your system.
Yes,
and that happened.
Yeah, so we had
quite soon.
Wouter Cronier who came and brewed on our system, and that
Awesome.
was a fantastic day. I mean, the Helderberg home brewers, an amazing club of guys, just amazing enthusiasm. So I'd like them to actually be brewing there on the day. We'd get those, because people forget them. They're Joe Publics at these festivals as well, not just the brewing kind of cognoscenti. So I want people who don't know what beer's about to get those delicious malt smells on the day of the festival, along with the kind of hot dogs and hamburgers and to discover what beer brewing is all about.
Yeah,
So-
no, it was a great festival.
Well,
it was great.
we enjoyed it thoroughly, and
Yeah.
I think that intimacy is what we want to keep. Having the brewer there, having some specialities, and yeah, let's hope it grows next year.
Yeah,
7th of April.
We're talking, of course, about the Fools and Fans Festival in Greyton. Not restricted to beer. We had a bit of gin there. We had a bit of wine. I know my
had water.
wife was very happy about that.
Yes.
And you got some live music. You got the reggae band there, which
Yeah.
they were cool. You've got
Very
different
homespun.
food, little kids area, so it is
Yeah.
kid friendly.
Very kid friendly. The only problem
Those
is
T-shirts did well, hey? Those T-shirts sold
they
out.
They seem to be popular. The only problem is getting there, but there is accommodation that we're going to try and
What's the
improve
stats
on.
about Greyton?
Yeah.
For there's 1,000 people living there,
Yeah,
but you've got a space for 3,000 or something like that.
There's very little bed space. There's about 1,000 to 2,000 available beds, but
That's
yeah, not so many. And I may be wrong on that. It may be less. It may be about 500 to 1,000. I don't know the exact.
but I mean, I
numbers.
can't imagine it to be anything less or anything less than Clarence. I imagine
Clarence
that
is a bit bigger. Clarence has,
really?
Clarence has got a pep store. Remember, we don't have that. So it's a.
You get in there.
we fill in the forms.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of beautiful camping, and a lot of the
Yes.
brewers took the opportunity with their families. I remember Mark from Red Sky said his kids were in tears the next day. They didn't want to leave. So they're beautiful campsites there. And we hope it goes a little. We want it to eventually be Glastonbury meets Clarence and gets fraught in a field. I don't know if that will work.
I
Let's-
can think of nothing better.
Let's try it. I mean, it was so lovely to have support of people like yourself. And Greg also got in behind there, and in his enthusiastic way. Beer Country guys, Carl and Greg were
yeah.
there, and they did a very nice
We did the food pairing.
pairing. So I want to grow that a bit more. Grow the. I even want a few little geeky lectures to
Let's
the
just
public.
have flamethrowers and guys on stilts, and it's going to be it's a great festival, and I encourage anyone who's listening to put in their diary and to make a weekend out of it, because it really is fun. And
It's amazing. Joe Burgers will drive 4 hours to get to Clarence. So come on, Cape Town. 90 minutes is not so bad. And if you can just, as Lucy Korn says, please just pre-book just 1 or 2 tickets before the event.
my God,
But Cape Townians
Town,
a fickle guy.
Town is. I've
suppose you've
worked
got
with
so much-
events. I've worked in events for a long time, and for some reason, Cape Town people only buy the day before.
Yeah.
Um,
But thanks, Troy. Thanks
thank you.
for mentioning it.
Of course, I think of nothing better to mention. I'd like to, before we take another break, I'd like us to go into, it's coming up to 1 o'clock, but I'd like us to crack open another beer, simply because we've gone through 3, and we have 5 more to go. So,
Wunderbar.
I see we've got the amber here, but what I'd like to do is, just for experimentational purposes, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to your India Pale Ale up next, and then we'll do your Amber Ale, just because I want the Amber Ale with another one.
Sure. Amber Ale's got a nice little story now.
and I think it'll be a nice
Flow.
follow-on.
Okay, the flow. Keep the flow.
Let's. I do want to just play some background music, because I think it just to help us get into the spirit of things. Oh, there we go. Otherwise, Trevor, you well?
So well. Enjoying, living the dream, Troy.
Oh, there we go. That is a good. So
And so grateful for the invite. Thank you.
Let me. Enough about you, Trevor. Let me tell you about me.
Yes.
I had a cool weekend, a very big beer weekend,
Wonderful.
even though I wasn't drinking. So we obviously went to CBC on Saturday for the Brewers Guild and Oktoberfest to chat a bit of beer stuff. I was also the designated driver for Greg and Carl, which they were very happy about.
I'm sure.
So we went after the CBC. We went to the Kuru Buurman
Yes.
Beer Festival, just by
fantastic.
Where was it? By that big wine bottle that you on the N1 before you get into Paarl.
Okay. I think I know what you mean. You were the designated driver, you said.
Yeah, so that was a bit aggressive here. A bit aggressive on the pool. And yeah, it's great to see people having those kind of beer festivals in different spots. And what else? Oh, then I went to a Halloween party on... Oh, before that, I watched the beautiful Stormers, the
Yes.
beautiful Western Province.
See, you've got that on loop on your Facebook page.
What a great day. I'm sure the people listening who are Western Province fans, it's just meant to be. The Curry Cup is coming home. I was so happy. I watched with a bunch of friends. I call them friends, but they were friends from Durban, and they had their Sharks jerseys on, and they were tuning the boychies. But you know what? I love it when things that are meant to happen.
Yes.
And on Saturday, it just happened for all the right reasons. It was a great day. Afterwards we bride.
No,
I was
perfect
I was happy.
aligning of the planets.
Oh, everything just fell into place. I'm sure there are people now. I can name a few mates who just probably turn it off, throwing their headphones down and just like, no, this is rubbish.
Yeah, but I can't get you can take a boy out of Liuki town, but you can't take the Liuki out of a Joburg.
Originally from
Gauteng.
Transvaal.
Yeah.
Oh, I still call it Transvaal.
Transvaal.
Just because I'm old school like that. I'll tell you what happened on Sunday, but I've got this delicious beer in front of me. This is your IPA.
Yeah. So this is quite a lot to tell about this beer. The first thing go back even before pouring the beer, the label. Unfortunately, it got to the printers with an extra N in the name. So on the label, you'll see the Indian Pale Ale, and I've nearly been tarred and feathered out of town by the beer Nazis, and it's very difficult to placate them. Our next batch of labels...
Well, maybe you are trying to do it, Indian.
I mean, our brewmaster is a guy called Mr. Patel, so I mean, we're happy with keeping it as it is. But
you know what? It's that kind of thing which I feel you could spin a massive marketing story, and you can actually do yourself a world of good.
Yes.
But I love.
It's very difficult to face the beer Nazis, but I mean, they scratch out the extra N on the bottle. We've got a warehouse full of extra N's that we're trying to get rid of, but our next label will get rid of this. When it pours, also unfiltered, so also a little bit of haziness there.
That's fine.
And that we are not unhappy with. I quite like the honey golden.
Does it have a bit of a honey aroma coming through?
Yeah. I'm not getting as much as I'd like of the Southern Passion. I use a lot of Southern Passion. I'm not getting the...
So that's the local hop.
Yeah. So the backbone is African Queen on this, and then the later bittering additions are Southern Passion. And I'm not getting the grapefruit and grenadella that I normally get on the beer from the tap.
Well, I've just had a sip of that, and it's delicious.
It's got a very nice bitterness.
It's delicious. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think I told you when I first tried this, I think maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
In that your IPA is where your pale ale should be.
Right.
In terms of that This is still sessionable, this IPA
Yes.
that you've got. I think with your Indian Pale Ale, you shouldn't be shy with those hops.
Yeah.
And definitely like dry hop the hell out of it. But yeah, I think you can definitely take this pale ale, this IPA up.
With the bitterness.
Yeah, but if you this IPA as it is now, if you said this was a pale ale, I'd say this is probably, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart.
Yes.
Probably one of the best in its category as a pale ale.
It's a pale, but you're not bitter enough for a pale.
I'm talking now in terms of being a beer judge. That's what I did on the weekend. I judged some beers.
Yes.
And yeah, if you enter this as a pale ale, high marks. So that's some constructive feedback.
That's what we want. So normally it's got a bit of a nicer aroma at the tap compared to this particular bottle, but and I think there's room to increase that IBU there as well. We like this the most out of all of the 4 beers, and it seems to be the most popular amongst the beer.
I was just about to say, it's amazing when you speak to new brewers and you say, cool, that might be your favorite beer, but what does the public want?
The public says, yes, that's bitter. So,
really, hey?
So they're not that, but the brewers seem to, I think, like that the most of the batch. But yeah, it's. I think we can also work on this a little bit more. We used to use a hop called Polaris, which is an Eastern European hop that gives a.
What is it called? Polaris?
Polaris, yeah. It gives a bit of a horrible mentholy, astringent bitterness. And we changed to Africa Queen. And I'm much more happy with it as it is now compared to how it used to be. But, obviously still some work to be done. I just looked at our untapped scores. We're sitting sort of 3.4, 3.5 on the beers. So I'm not unhappy with that, but there's obviously room to get better.
I wouldn't look too closely at those untapped scores. We're talking obviously about the program or the app that you use to rate your beers. Similar to that
the
Venus.
TripAdvisor.
I think that thing is also updated. Some beers are not in your case, but I think you get some older beers and the scores are updated, and some people just give really horrible scores, and it's not a true reflection of what the beer is.
So you take it with a...
I don't even look at that stuff for professional feedback.
Yeah.
I'd rather ask someone who's in my beer circle.
CP,
No, just anyone in my beer circle. Hey guys, have you had this beer?
Yeah.
And get their feedback. You're going to get straight word of mouth from someone you trust.
Which kind of brings us back to the kind of tasting...
It's great how we just circle around and come back.
So to get a guild that tells you... you don't want a guild saying to some guy, that's not to style, buddy, take that off the shelves. But if there's spoiling and horrible off flavors, you do want that. So it just has to be done carefully. Hey?
Oh, definitely. You actually... I've said this a few times in a heated debate, but you've actually got to be a little bit stern with the brewer, and regardless, they should a businessman should want to get that feedback, and if the beer's sour or off, you'd want to improve it. It just doesn't make sense to, in the long run, to keep making shit beer.
Absolutely.
So you've actually got to be a bit, as I said, authoritarian, and put the hammer down and say, this is not good. This is what you need to do to improve it.
Don't kill the gleam in the guy's eyes.
It's as good for you as it is for the industry, because you're going to have some guy who's going to try your beer, and he's been drinking Castle his whole life. He's going to drink your off-flavored craft beer in that bracket.
Foray into craft.
And if he has a bad experience with it, unfortunately, all the other guys are going to get roped into that category. So it would be bringing the industry down, and that is what we're fighting against.
Sure.
So, in a nice way, we would be saying to brewers, pick up your socks. Let's grow. So, it needs to be seen in that light.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's hope this Indian Pale Ale will we'll be continuing to tweak it. And
This is delicious. Where can people get this in Cape Town?
so we've been, we've been so thrilled with guys, obviously like Marnie at Ruland Street and Tony at Claremont. And the lovely Carla at the barkeeper, and the beautiful Queen and Peasant in Kloof Street. Wonderful little.
Still have not
bottle
been
store.
there. I need to go just
So
pop
nice,
in there.
proper craft, very enthusiastic couple that run it. Wonderful, wonderful place. So and then we've just got into a few restaurants, Satano and Craft
very
Burger and
nice.
Sea Point.
Still have a nice beer menu.
Very
nice
nice
beer
beer
selection.
Very, very nice beer.
And they're not too ridiculously priced.
No,
That you-
which is another topic for a rainy day. The
But it's-
65 rand pint of beer.
It's sunny
Still
today.
sunny, yeah.
It's still sunny. Cool. Well, I think we're going to take a quick music break, and then I want to talk to you about what I did on the weekend. Sure, Trev. Hey, it's meant to be the T-Bone show.
Enough about me.
Yeah.
What do you think about me?
Cool. But to the people listening, we're going to listen to some Boss, and we will see you in about 5 minutes or so. We'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Lovely.
Doing it right, everybody will be dancing and we'll feel it.
Cool.
Everybody will be dancing.
Okay, we're back.
Everybody will be dancing and we'll feeling alright.
Trevor, you're a fan of the Boss? Or Bruce
Yes,
Springsteen?
yes, one of the best concerts I ever went to.
What a great show, hey?
4 or 5 hours of hard graft.
I couldn't believe that.
What a boykie.
I was most impressed. Yeah. No, he's
amazing.
He put,
Hard work.
He put the work in, and he got it out.
Yeah.
Speaking of putting in hard work and getting good results, let's have another one of your beers.
nice link. Nice link.
A nice link, eh? Actually, I'm going to save your beer. I'm going to save your beer for. I've got a
little,
certain
Sure.
a way of doing distributing beers.
That's why
Call
you
it
do the
OCD
T-bone.
or whatever it is. But I want to have this this new beer from our friends at Wild Clover. It's called the Dorcas Lager. I think Dorcas was a
Umpy. Is this Umpy's beer?
yeah. This was a Dorcas was a brew someone. Let me just Google it. Dorcas. 'Cause
What a nice guy as well, huh? And he was at our festival at First Fools and Fans. Very, very nice guy.
the name Dorcas is a Greek baby name. The Greek in the meaning of the name Dorcas is gazelle.
Okay.
Famous bear. Cool. Okay, so it's
Why was it-
gazelle,
why was it-
and
yeah.
and it all makes sense because there's a gazelle on the label.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
So this is, I suppose, one of their.
Because
They've also got a core range,
yes, they've got a backbone of about 4.
which I'm a big fan of. The owl, the
Yes,
porter,
the porter.
dog
Yes.
porter.
Lovely.
But let's try the lager, which is
I like their Vice as well,
smells
as well as their
interesting.
porter.
I'm just going to clean my glass from the. You're welcome to do the same.
Just flick it on the studio floor. Huh?
Hope my manager's not listening, but yeah. For the people who have just joined us, I hopefully you have
One killy.
an idea where you are. But this is Two Oceans Vibe Radio, and you listen to Hashtag Beer Time, where we drink beer on the radio. I mean, in terms of jobs around the world.
Can't get many more jammy.
Yeah, just Troy, we need you to drink some beer on the radio.
Talk with your mates.
Will you be okay with that?
You can't get a Weber in here, Trev. I mean, then you've arrived.
Trev, this is why I invited you. This is where the ideas are going to start to flow.
Turn a Vorsi.
Oh, can you imagine? You just convert this little window here and you have a little braai. No, we would love to have a braai, but
So, Troy, what's this, the Dorcas? What's the style?
it's a lager.
Okay, fantastic.
And yeah, you can smell it when I had a little smell. It's very pale in color, but when I smell it, you can smell that bready maltiness.
Yes.
Very little hops, but with a with the lager, you're not meant to get a lot of aroma.
No.
It's meant to be very clean. Nothing
Lovely.
nothing in your face. So
Sure.
so far so good.
And a lovely creamy head.
Okay, so no more talking. Let me drink.
That is very nice. That is very nice.
Wow,
Very
a bit
nice.
of honey there. Did you get that honey?
Yes, yes. And
Wow, there's
very clean. Very, very clean.
I'd actually go. I'd say there's a lot of honey there. There's a medium to. I thought it was little,
Yeah.
but there's actually a medium amount of honey there. So that's wow.
Nice mouthfeel, huh?
Sure, a tip
nice-
of the old cap to
To Umpy.
Wild Clover Breweries. They're on the R44 in Stellenbosch. Oh,
Yeah, they
I'm gonna
just near
massacre the
just
directions.
near Stellies, aren't they? They're just around.
they're actually
from
very
there.
close to
It's
Bruce's
a nice
Stellies.
day out. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
so
very
it's a
nice,
nice little-
brewery hopping experience.
Sure, you could go CBC, Stellies, Wild Clover, and be very happy.
Thrilled.
And I'm sure I'm missing out. There's also Berg River in Paul and
And there's Jan Zabonki.
Zabonki. Yes,
Lovely guy. Lovely
a
beers
very
as well.
very big character.
Huge character.
Yes, as
those
are you.
beers.
But yeah,
This is well done.
This is well done. So
Mooi gedaan, meneer Creer.
we're giving high praise to the Dorcas lager. Dorcas meaning gazelle.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to read here. It's got some other
And
anti-Dorcas
it is,
marsupials.
as you said, it is quite honeyish. It's more for people who don't like beer. Maybe this is a nice entry into the lager field. That's a lovely.
I'm very happy that they've made a good lager. 'cause
Yeah.
it's not easy. So yeah.
No, very difficult.
Now, before the break, we were talking about my weekend, Trevor. And one of the things that I did on the Sunday, I judged the National Homebrew Champs at Beer House.
Yes.
Where we had a Joburg and Cape Town leg. So Joburg was obviously done in Joburg, and then
Yes.
Cape Town was done on Sunday. I think there were about 5 groups of judges, and we all judged about 10 beers. So we had about 50 beers to get through, which was it's doable.
Very
And you
doable, yeah.
managed to get through them. But yeah, we had some very tasty beers. It's good to see, the level is definitely rising, but it's good also to get some new names.
Yes.
New people who are joining the craft beer
Absolutely.
scene.
Absolutely.
Because it's those guys who kind of grow your industry and push
100%.
push the boundaries.
And they're not scared with their. I mean,
It's also a I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's a humbling way of trying to talk to people. And when you get a new person on the scene,
Yep.
that's just the nature of craft beer is just to be like open and honest
Yep.
and giving of information.
Yes.
You're not going to be arrogant and closed-minded. And that's what's great about the beer judging certificate program. When you judge a beer, you always try and give good feedback and encouraging words of how to improve the beer. So, yeah, we had some good beers, one or two that really stood out. And it's what's good to see is that they weren't easy styles to make.
Right.
I think a lot of the time, or when I started homebrewing, people would just make amber ales.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a collective thing that you can just kind of, if your beer goes a little bit off what you were making, you could just throw it into the amber ale category. Similar also to dark beers like stouts. You could just throw it into a dark stouts. You can hide a lot more of your off flavors
failures, yeah.
into the stouts. But yeah, so that was a good day at Beer House.
Very encouraging to see that the field's growing, because there's a temptation for these little echo chambers to exist in the social media, I think, from time to time. And it's nice to see that it's a vibrant community that's growing and
It's
improving.
it's very anti-Cape Town. It's very like you need to be open and invite new people in.
And even actually invite you to a braai at your house.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
I got sidetracked. You know how when you're about to say something and then you just...
Sorry.
No. Oh well. It happens quite a bit on the show.
That's good. So have the winners been announced yet?
No,
or-
so now the top 20 beers, or top 15, whatever percentage it is,
Go
gets sent
through.
up to Joburg. And then the finals is, I think, this weekend or the following weekend.
Right.
And they'll have other people judging that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And
Well, that's good. I mean, and then there's definitely a kind of growing links between the Joburg set and the Cape Town set and the rest of the country.
do you know what's actually quite
I
interesting?
think that's why I was sent to Cape Town to bridge this gap.
You could be seen as the bearer.
Joburg, yeah.
It's pretty. I might get some flack for this, but it's pretty common knowledge that Cape Town is the craft beer capital
Sure.
of
The numbers
South Africa.
say that.
We have all the top 5 breweries.
Absolutely.
But ironically, the homebrew scene in Joburg is much bigger.
Yes.
The Werthogs homebrew club, the older brother of Southeasters homebrew club in Cape Town, they have 3 subdivisions. So they have a north, south,
East as well.
east
Yeah.
division for Werthogs. Southeasters just has 1 division.
Right.
So that just shows you the size of Joburg and the size of the homebrew club. So yeah, and their homebrew tends to be a lot better. And they always won the competitions.
Right.
I think actually last year we had our first Western Cape winner. Cornier or someone
Okay,
like that.
so,
I forgot his name, but he made a red IPA and won last year's
nice.
homebrew competition. All these things that I wanted to chat about, but we're getting there. So what, this Dorcas lager is delicious.
And I hope he puts this on tap permanently, because he's done very nicely.
He's got a very nice system.
very
out there,
nice system that
venue.
he's recently. I mean, when I say recently, over the last 2 years or so, has expanded, and he's been successful, and rightfully so.
Let's go on to another guest beer. This was given to me by my good friend Garth, who's just had a baby. And instead of me giving him something, he gave me a beer. That's a good friend.
Nice, mate.
So this is a brewery that I've never actually heard of. It's called Hops Hollow Country House.
I know it. It's
It's the highest brewery in Africa. They
Yes, I
state,
know exactly
in
where it is.
Limpopo.
Outside Leidenburg.
Is that close?
Yeah, so that's where the brewer from Anvil Brewer in Dahlstrom, which is a legendary brewer. They make a wonderful award-winning IPA. He used to
Theo.
own hops. Exactly right. So he used to own.
And his
Hops Hollow.
surname's De Beer.
We're still looking at the certificates there. So, but it is.
I think I might change my name.
But
Troy BMA.
But that was his original brewery. It's a beautiful brewery up on the pass to the Long Tom Pass to Sabi, and very, very nice setting. So, is he the brewer there? Your mate?
No, he just. I think he just.
He picked it up
Was in the
on his
area.
travels.
And it's about to hit its expiry dates, which is
It's-
only in a month's
the-
time. But that's
The clock's ticking.
it's a porter. Ooh. And what's nice, I'm sure you can see it, is that it's this short dumpy bottle
Yes.
that we used to get
Yes.
by Console. Now
Yes.
all the bottles are long and thin.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the little short and dumpy.
No.
Uh,
But I'm just amazed at these little country breweries, how they get their ingredients and their bottles and their. I mean, that's quite an undertaking to get all the ingredients and what have you up in the
I need
in the
I need
eastern in Mpumalanga. And Theo's been brewing wonderful beers there for many years.
Theo, I think he did really well in his Anvil IPA.
Yeah,
I think
it's Mujna.
He might have got best of show for
Yes,
his
he
2 years ago.
He did. I can never remember the name, but it's named after the.
Mojiner.
I always just say, give me that award-winning IPA,
Yes.
Theo.
Okay, this is a porter. Cheers. Oh, a little bit sour.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, and I just poured myself a big glass.
But it's a nice bottle. Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. No, look,
Nice,
this is not the first time we've had a sour beer on the show, but
But it's difficult, I think, to transport. You know,
Yeah,
it
it
just
does-
highlights the distribution
it
problems.
does have here on the back of the label, live beer, kindly keep refrigerated.
Yeah.
So they've kind of
Who knows?
said, look, this beer is bottle conditioned.
Yeah.
You need to keep it cold. And
I'm sure it's delicious at the brewery,
I'm sure it's
but
super tasty.
But it just shows the back to the guild.
Yeah, back to the guilds. We need to make sure that this beer.
And what's particularly nice is that they've taken the trouble to even put a date on there, because that's hugely lacking in the industry, and it's a huge bugbear of a friend of our, a Piwe, who everyone knows, and she's been fighting for regulation in the industry for a while, and I agree with her. I think
like
a
a
simple.
Piwe.
I think a simple date is it's such a small thing to ask for, but it's so lacking on many
You know,
breweries.
you know that you. A person is a good soul when they give you a hug whenever they see you.
A Piwe does that.
A Piwe and you, Trevor. It's always like
I'll hug both of you.
you just when we. I'm just looking for a handshake, but there's always there's a hug.
So yeah.
Handshakes are for strangers, as my friend says.
Yeah, but that date is such a small thing that's lacking.
Okay, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna take another little music break just to go rinse our glass. Yeah, but we'll definitely give this beer a second chance.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with the beer. It's just unfortunately it hasn't travelled well.
No.
So on that note, we're gonna try something else. Let's play some music. Okay, we're back. It's hashtag beer time, and we are just having a great time in the studio
Wonderful.
with Dr. T from the old Potter's Brew House in Greyton.
So
Lekker.
did I mention we're going to be at First Thursdays? Did I say that to you?
We are
did I mention
we
that?
are talking about that. So let's talk about upcoming events. It just popped up in my head.
Yes.
Remind me to come back to your First Thursdays. But have you seen the new funding video for to buy out Anheuser-Busch?
No.
It's from the craft brewers. It's from the Brewers Association.
Yes, I have.
It's quite a tongue-in-cheek. It's not really a spoof because they really are going for it. There's plans to actually buy the biggest brewery in the world.
I thought it was all-
The Brewers
yeah.
Association of America wants to buy out the big guy,
AB InBev.
which is a total
Yes.
U-turn in the beer industry, and it's just like what? But they just want to buy. They want to like take away because obviously AB InBev are buying all the smaller guys, so they're like,
Yeah.
well, fuck that. We're gonna buy you
Yeah.
for $216 billion. And they actually got a full-on funding page. They've made a very cool video, and I was doing some research this morning. They've actually raised $1 million already.
My goodness.
But
ZARs or proper dollars?
dollars. So I don't know. It's like probably one of those things like when it actually goes through, people are like, oh shit, and then I need to pay. But it's
Yeah, more love to them.
I just think it's great for the industry just to show that
Yeah.
if people do actually get the money for this thing, then like, oh well, it just shows you that's what's the word? A whole is better than a part.
Yes, the sum of the whole is.
Thank you.
The sum of the parts. The whole is bigger than the sum of the parts.
I'm just nodding my head. Trevor, you are much smarter than I am.
No, that's the. My mom comes from Kimberley, so I know holes and that type of thing. But onto the last beer, and we will get into your events, the upcoming events. But this is your
Royneck Amber Ale, 5%. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, it is a bit of a kind of starter beer, I suppose, that every home brewer makes. We've tried to get it as caramelly and honey and delicious as we can. And we quite...
I'll let you pour, because I know you've got to go back to work.
We had a bit of we had a nice little spring start.
It is a beautiful colour.
So we ran into stock issues, and we asked our good friend Andre Fullion, who's another lovely human being and brewer, and an old school friend, if he could brew a few litres for us, and he agreed, which we're very grateful to him for. And so this is also mainly SAB malt. I think it's got a nice golden, reddy colour.
Definitely get that caramel toffee.
Yeah.
Ah.
I think it's a very soft, gentle, easy kind of sunset beer.
What hops did you use? I'm definitely getting some floral notes.
I used again. We've changed a lot and are trying to go as South African as we can. So we're using again, obviously a lot less than our IPA, but we're using a lot of African Queen and also a touch of Southern Passion. So we've totally.
It makes sense to use the hops that are in your area. I mean,
I think so.
You wouldn't.
It's quite trendy to denigrate the South African ingredients, but I think.
It's very artisanal.
Yes. I think a Southern Passion can hold its hoppy head against a Citra or So I quite like it, and that's what we've used here. We've tried to get the hops, all the caramelly and toffee there, and I think we've got it right. And thanks to Andre and to Murray, his brewer, and Dylan, I think we've kind of got there, and I quite enjoy this beer. I think it's my second favorite.
It's very sessionable. If I had to change it, I'd put it up a little bit more in the body.
Yes, it is a bit thin,
but not in a bad way. Yes. It's a very personal.
But it is a little bit. The kind of mouthfeel vanishes a bit quickly. I don't know if those are the right BJ terms to use. You know your BJ CP better.
Yeah, you need to finish that abbreviation.
Yes. They're judging banana jam. Yeah.
Because people.
No, don't want.
We've got some really weird listeners out there.
Right.
And we have a lot of weird. I mean, I don't blame them.
But we hope that with those 4 beers, the Pale Ale, the Amber Ale, the IPA, and the Saison, it's a little tour through beeriness, and we acknowledge we're young and that we could be better, and we're here to grow.
Where do you get your water from? Because I know that a lot of the breweries in the Western Cape now are kind of sickling.
We have been lucky in that a local farm seems to have some filtration thing through the mountains of Greyton that just never dries up. So we've got very pure water there.
Beautiful.
It's a little bit too pure, and we need to add calcium to let the hops work.
Okay. I was just about to ask you, are you able to get your readings and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have got our readings, and it's funnily also very acidic. I think it goes through those fynbos roots and picks up a bit of tannin. So we're getting pHs of around about 4. Which helps with our mash pH, but
you want your pH to be about 5.7,
5.2, 5.6, 7. So we are lucky that we haven't had problems with the Cape Town drought. But having said that, as you know, I mean, a lot of the water is the cleaning, and so we have had problems with staying within the confines of the drought.
It's been at the moment. It has been very hectic. I've had a few friends who said like they've been brewing and then all of a sudden the water just gets shut down.
It's in the City Bowl.
No, this is out in the general Cape Flats area.
Right.
So it's
an issue.
It's a big issue.
Huge issue. And unfortunately,
you tell people that never mind that the water's going to run out, but you tell them the beer's going to run out, then anarchy.
And SAB are sitting pretty on the greatest kind of source of spring water in the city.
Water,
So,
yeah, that is. I think aren't there like 2 other springs? But there are, yeah. There's,
yeah.
yeah, that's. I've gone to collect water from Newton Spring, and it can get super heavy and crazy. Oaks
Oh, really?
getting aggressive for water, yeah.
Like Blade Runner style.
No, more like some animated drama.
But it's an issue. It's an issue for brewers, and I don't know. I don't know how some of the people who are using municipal water are getting by. There must be. I don't know if they're paying fines yet, or luckily we haven't had to do that yet with our spring water.
Yeah, I think the shit's going to hit the fan in the new year, January,
Yep.
February, when the dams really just
Dry up.
dry up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure, very scary.
And not too much forward planning, it seems.
But without getting too political, let's come
Yes,
back,
yes.
draw it back.
Yes.
So, what's happening this Thursday? We've got
So
first
first
Thursday. There's a lot of events. There's
Yeah.
the Cape Town Festival of Beer
Coming up in December.
That's coming up in December, but
First
they've
week
got
of December.
they've got some launch party at the new Papa store in Harrington Street. That's on Thursday. Then there's
This Thursday.
this Thursday.
Ah,
Is this
they-
first Thursday?
They lost my address, those chaps. But my email
Everyone in the beer industry is
is
welcome.
invited.
And you know what? I said so.
Tell them Troy sent you.
They can. You can be my plus one.
But we are taking part with Motherland brewers in the other side of the St George's Mall near
Okay.
and we people like Steph from Little Wolf is going to be there, so we're having a little attempt at our first Thursdays.
Brilliant. Okay, so there'll be 3 brewers down there.
Yeah, there are a few I know of Little Wolf and ourselves, and there are at least 2 others that I'm not sure of
I
the
hope
names yet.
Steph will be there. He's
He
a good
will
oak.
definitely be
He says
Thoroughly.
he sometimes listens to the show, and anyone who sometimes listens to the show is definitely,
He's definitely going
a good oak.
He's definitely going to be SMSing, tweeting.
Let's
Dawn
see.
at
I'm just
now.
reading the.
Steph, let's give you.
we're
3
both on the
seconds.
same group.
Steph, are you there?
A quick shout out to the Tasting League captains.
Yeah.
You know who you are. You just keep up the good work, and if you're listening, you deserve a beer.
But yeah, so there's lots going on, and
It's good that you're involved, that you showing your Greyton brand in the city
In the
centre.
city.
That's great marketing, and people
we're trying to. Yeah, it's amazing. Having gone through our first year, we were horrified at winter. We didn't realize that people stopped drinking beer in winter, so we managed to survive that. And
Scary.
summer, very scary. So summer has increased
said,
the
yes.
and so that's been.
It's amazing.
lovely.
Just not even the heat, just that extra hour of sunlight.
Yes,
It gives you an extra,
bon vivant.
an extra je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
just to
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 get
have
your
a-
drinking done.
Exactly.
But so I don't know how I think it applies to everyone, the big brewers as well, that they have to make adjustments for that. But yeah, so we involved with the first Thursday, and we're very proud to be going to Clarence next year. So we are
I saw that. So it's your first year.
took a lot of begging and pleading and.
Well done. Well done.
And
That's
handing over of unwanted children to Stephanie, but we and to Steph and Natalie, but we're there, and yeah. So and then there's the Fools and Fans. So hopefully we keep the beer flowing.
when is the Clarence Festival?
That is February.
So it's February, yeah.
It's February. So
Awesome.
what an amazing job that they do, Natalie and Steph.
Yeah, it's going to be next year's going to come very quickly.
You going?
To Clarence?
Yes.
Maybe. I'm going
on.
to see if I can.
Come on, T-Bone.
I'm going to see if I can wangle a trip up there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm saving up for something shiny for the missus.
Lovely.
I'm
Lovely.
hoping she's listening.
Come on, Lauren.
Yeah.
How about a romantic weekend
Weekend
in
in
Clarence for February?
No, she'd be all up for it.
With 1,000 of Troy's best mates.
Exactly. Oh, I can see her just rolling her eyes.
Yeah.
No, so we've got some. It's a very intense up next few months in terms of beer events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
We've got obviously the Cape Town Festival of Beer. You guys aren't partaking in that, are
We
you?
are, we partaking of that, so we're there as well. And
Brilliant.
so we're looking forward
Sure.
to all
So
of
you
these
guys are
events.
just putting the foot down.
Trying to as much as we can.
This,
I mean,
and this is your first Cape
First
Town.
Cape Town Festival.
So have you ever been to the Brewers Braai? Where they
That's
have,
on the Thursday.
Have you
night.
been to one of those?
No. We're looking forward to that.
It's very nice. It's a lot of fun.
Must I bring a chop with?
They supply the chops.
Okay.
You just every brewer brings their own case of beer, and
Oh,
everyone
fantastic.
just kind of helps himself.
Just like Africa Burns in Greenpoint.
Yeah, I somehow always manage to wangle my way in there as a non-brewer, but it's good fun, and
We're looking forward to the tremendous.
it's a great weekend. I try and avoid the Saturday because that's definitely the mass consumption crowd who.
The Friday afternoon is always nice and quiet
Friday
and
is
pleasant.
chilled. Sunday is lekker because everyone's got a hangover and they're just exhausted, and you can just go and chill.
Yeah.
Sunday is actually the day that I enjoy the most. But yeah, and we've got that, and then I think there's the Darling Festival on the 16th of December.
Okay.
They had a winter festival,
Yes.
and now they're having a summer festival on the 16th of December out at the brewery.
Okay.
So
Is that a multi-brewer festival, or is it Darling?
I'm not going to lie, I have no idea.
Okay.
But I'm going to assume that it's maybe Devil's Peak, Darling and Friends.
But it's been very nice for us to come down from Joburg. I mean, we've only been here a year and a half, and to see this burgeoning Cape scene. And there are all these new brewers that are popping out all the time. The Stone Circles and the Murray Middletons.
What are your thoughts? I mean, wrapping up, we've got about 8 minutes, but I mean, what are your thoughts on where the industry is heading?
Yeah, I had an interesting conversation with Marnie from...
Oh shit, let's open another beer.
Yes. I had an interesting conversation with Marnie from Roland Liquors, and he said, the kind of excitement at the moment is with the gin guys.
Yes.
Which it's very difficult for me to hear that being a beer guy, because certainly all the beer that is made from scratch, whereas a lot of these gins are made from kind of bought alcohol with a little sprinkling of herbs and spices.
Puree or
So
concentrates.
it kind of goes a little bit against the artisanal grain, but so I don't know if we have to reinvent ourselves and maintain that interest. To me, it's still an exciting field, and there's more exciting collaborations and beers that we've never heard of coming out. With the kind of vanguard brewers like Rory from Ager coming through. So I think it's alive and healthy and well, and that we will continue to thrive.
Yeah, I think we're in a very exciting period right now. You're going to get the existing brewers are going to definitely pick up the game. They have to.
Yeah.
And then anyone joining the game, the beer industry, is going to have to. They're going to see the other guys and think, shit, I can't just have my little old plastic buckets and go for it.
No.
They're going to have to look for a lot more of investments and go a little bit bigger scale, which to me makes it a little bit more serious for them.
Yeah.
They're going to have to realize it's not just a short-term thing, it's a long-term thing. More emphasis, more efforts.
Yeah.
Bigger, better beer.
Yep. Which brings us into
the final beer, which is an American beer brought to me by my good friend Dane, who's living in North Carolina. And so
that's the best of the Carolinas.
He's just has an abundance of beers and breweries to choose from. This is from Asheville. Asheville is kind of the capital of the East Coast of beer towns.
Okay.
They've got the Sierra Nevada second brewery over there. They've got
lovely.
a whole bunch of other breweries, and he says this is his go-to amber ale, more than the Flat Tire Belgian beer company.
Sure.
So I said, well, that's quite claim, but let's
Have a little.
sniffy sniff.
That's nice.
You can smell
That is
the
nice,
the
though.
hops and the sweetness coming through.
That is a lovely smell. Oh, I can see why.
Sure.
Go to.
Wow.
That is very nice. Very smooth.
How
That's an
it's
amber.
very light to light medium, clean.
Beautiful mouthfeel.
Just that it's you can feel the sugars there, you can
Yeah.
feel the hops is there, but it's not like a mush.
No.
It's you can
Very
separate it.
Yes. That is lovely. That is lovely. And that's from North Carolina. Huh?
Yeah, it's essentially one of the best places to brew beer.
Yeah.
So
It's very nice.
there's no,
Highland Brewing Company.
they've been going family owned since 1994.
Yeah. That is that's also
that's-
relatively new.
Yeah.
But they are just, I suppose, at least as you say, 2 decades ahead of us in terms of their growth and consolidation. I suppose there will be a natural attrition of breweries in South Africa as new players come on and the big players get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Imagine put Old Potters in Bury 20 years from now.
Sure.
You started 2016.
Yeah.
2036.
Yeah,
we
I've
look
been in
at-
my 70s. I'm not sure I want to lift the 20-kilogram
No.
bags of malt. I see myself in that jacuzzi of love with you, just drinking the
With
beers
the
that you spoke
electric
of. Yeah.
mobilized vehicle. Yeah.
But
No.
yeah,
No, this has been good fun. This has been great.
it's been fantastic. Thank you very much. for
It's
the
gone
invite.
very quickly, as it always does on the show. I just want to congratulate you on the beers that you have brought to us today. They are very good beers, and they are definitely going to be cemented in the beer industry.
Thank you.
On the shelves of the Ruland Liquors and the Spa Tops and Checkers and Pick and Pays. I hope you get onto those big guys. 'Cause
Thank you very
it's
much.
not easy.
No,
But that's what the Craft Beer Guild of South Africa will help you get.
thank you very much.
We're going to do our best. Any...
And thank you for being such a champion of the industry, Troy. I
thank
mean,
you, Troy.
you've had a huge role in the development of the whole industry, and thank you very much. We owe a lot to you as
very
collective
kind.
brewers. So thank you very much.
I won't take all the credit. I might take a little tiny bit of credit, but I think it is a collective whole. We all need to play our part and a role in elevating and
Yeah.
putting the South African craft beer scene on a pedestal, because it really is a beer destination, and we should treat it as such.
Yep.
And
And be proud of what
don't
we've,
care who you are. That's only going to send good vibes.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's very exciting times.
And big radio beer hugs to the community.
Big radio hugs to all the people who are listening. I still need to try and figure out how we can get people to just phone in. Lauren says she's in. Lauren, for Clara.
Good goal.
Good girl. Okay.
Yeah. So there we go.
So she's going to have a romantic
Quite
weekend,
romantic with
weekend
1,000
in Clarence, and
percents,
then
yeah.
another one in Greyton. So lucky girl, hey?
You spoiled
Two
it.
romantic
I don't know.
weekends.
And
Hey?
my Mandy, I mean, the way we spoil those girls.
Hey, if only we had some time for our friends and beer drinking.
One last little plug on the 25th of November in the deliciously
Hit me.
small country village of Greyton. There's a brew run where you can do either 20Ks, 12Ks, or 6Ks trail running. You know you're good at running, Troy. And you start off with coffee.
Running away from the ladies.
And you end off with beer at our place. A free beer and a free coffee to start. So the Greyton Brew Run on the 25th of November of this
Can
year.
you substitute your coffee for a beer?
You certainly can. You certainly can.
'Cause that
And
might,
Greyton is beautiful at this time of year.
Cool. Is it you do this? How many times do you guys do this a year?
Once a year. But every now and again another
And
company comes in as well.
Okay, so it's on the 25th of November.
25th of November, the Greyton Brew Run.
Sure.
quite fun.
And I'd imagine a lot of the places bed and breakfast get booked up
No,
quite soon.
it's very low key. I mean, the starting gun is not a gun per se. It's a guy with a bullwhip who
Just
says
checking my calendar.
3, 2, 1.
Maybe there might be another romantic weekend for the missus. Well, there's nothing that's on my calendar right now.
So that's another beery, runny thing.
No, well, we want beer events. We want more beer events, and we want more beer events from you guys. So, signing off, Trevor. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Troy.
It's always just an unbelievable pleasure just chatting to you. I feel this is not the last time we're going to have you on the show. We're definitely going to get you on again. More different beers
And lovely too. Let's
why
set
not?
up. Thank you for being on, and let's
Maybe
set up,
we can have the next show in a jacuzzi.
or in one of those those non-craft bars with dartboards. I always love that.
Let's do that. Just
Pool darts
Pool,
and castle
drink
lights.
Castle lights. There's absolutely nothing wrong with those little dive bars.
Lovely.
Cool. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for #BeerTime. That's #BeerTime written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check you next time. Cheers.